Hi, I'm Jason from All the Mushrooms, and today we're going to be having a look at how I grow mushrooms. So I use agar for everything for all the mushroom cultures. So first we're going to start off pouring some agar, getting our hands nice and clean. Those are the agar plates we'll be using, and the agar is still hot from being sterilized. It should be 45 Celsius-ish. So we just separate the plates into more manageable stacks there and swirl it all up. And this one was for a wild tissue clone, so we're using antibiotic agar this time. So we're just going to squirt the antibiotic in. There's a very, very tiny amount. You really don't need much. And then we're going to swirl it up some more. And yeah, you just start from the bottom, pour the plates, about 2 tablespoons of agar each, and work your way up the stack. It's pretty easy to pour when it's this hot. It'll set up really quickly when it cools down. So this is kind of a time-limited process, which I'll save you having to watch me pour all 20 plates. So here we're going to use a liquid culture syringe that I purchased to inoculate some of those agar plates. So you want to get everything very, very clean. It's important to be very clean with all of this, especially in front of the giant HEPA filter there. Clean our hands off with alcohol. I use a propane torch instead of an alcohol lamp. It is a lot faster. No matter what you use, just don't set your hands on fire. I have. So we sterilize the needle, just getting it red hot. And you don't want to shoot it out right away because it will kill anything in there. So I just squeeze a little bit out to cool down the needle first. And we just squirt out a very small amount onto each plate there. And just proceed like that. I usually do 4 or 5 for each culture. And then those will grow out into nice, healthy agar cultures that we can then use to make grain later. But there is a little step before that. So now we're going to take our agar cultures that have grown out nicely, and we're going to put those onto more agar dishes. So we unwrap the film from the edge of the dish here. And the idea here is that we're going to use a scalpel to just lift up little tiny wedges of the agar. I want to get that cleaned off too. And then sterilized in the flame. And then we're going to just lift up tiny wedges of the culture and put it down onto fresh agar plates. It's of course important to cool off the scalpel first. I just put it in a section of blank agar just to let it cool down. If there were sound, you could hear a little sizzle there. And then I just cut a tiny little wedge out of one of the fluffy white mushroom colonies there. It's a bit of a delicate procedure. And then just lift up the wedge on the tip of the blade, open the new dish, and kind of wipe it off there. We'll just do one more so you can get a better view of it. So again, just cut a little triangular wedge, lift it up gently, and plop it down on the plate. And that's all there is to it. Just repeat a lot more times. So here we're just going to inoculate grain with agar. Get our hands cleaned off real quick, in front of the flow hood obviously. And we're just going to peel the film off the agar dish so we can use it. And now we're going to clean our hands again and get ready to transfer some agar into the grain. Get our scalpel all cleaned off. And then we're going to flame sterilize it. But first we'll open the grain bag and get it all ready. It's been sealed shut from its sterilizing. Just got it opened up and shaken up a little bit. And now it's ready for the agar transfer. Get the flame turned on, and sterilize our scalpel. And then we'll just take a little, actually a large chunk from the agar dish. We want a lot of surface area here. And we'll lift that up gently. And we'll plop that down onto the grain. We're going to repeat this a few times. We want maybe 3 or 4 large chunks, which should make it colonize relatively quickly. And at that point, we'll shake it up, heat seal it, and leave that for about 1 to 2 weeks usually. And then it should colonize pretty well. So here we're going to be taking our inoculated grain in that bag there, and making some more grain. So after cleaning our hands, we're just going to cut open the bag of grain spawn there that was inoculated with agar previously. And we've got 2 bags of fresh sterilized grain sitting right beside it. So we're going to get those opened up and just kind of loosened up a little bit. And we're going to pour just about a cup maybe of grain in there. Shake it all up so it gets evenly distributed. And then get it packed down again. And then off camera here, I'm just going to heat seal the bag. So this grain will grow out to be fully colonized in generally maybe 10 to 14 days. And then it can be used to repeat the process, or it can be used to inoculate sawdust to grow the mushrooms on. Just for a little detour here, this is my shelves full of inoculated grain. This was inoculated with agar, and it's all fully colonized and ready to be used. I usually have about 200 pounds of this on hand. Since we're in the lab, we'll check out the fridge too. This is where all the real science stuff is. These are my DNA primers and DNA copying enzymes. This is the stuff that I use for the mushroom DNA sequencing that I use to attempt to discover new species, with some success actually. Here we have some bags of wood pellets that I've mixed up already, and we're just going to hydrate these with about 5 cups of hot water. This helps them to rehydrate a bit faster than cold water would. And these bags just have to sit here. They don't really have to get shaken up at all. If you use hot water, they'll just rehydrate on their own. Those wood pellets will puff right up, and they should be ready in about 10 or 15 minutes. We'll turn the stove on now too, so the sterilizer can heat up, and they should be ready about the same time. We're back in a little less than 10 minutes actually, and this is all hydrated up nicely, so we'll just give it a shake. These are just pretty much just wet sawdust now, which is exactly what we're going for, with just the right amount of water. Fold the bag back up along the gussets, which is an acquired skill to be honest. They don't really want to fold after you've opened them, but they fit in the sterilizer a lot better that way. Fold the top down, just kind of wrap it over, then we'll grab some tape. It doesn't really matter what kind of tape you use. I use stuff that I can't peel off. I have to just rip it after it's sterilized. Tape the top down to itself there, and then we have a nice little package ready for the sterilizer. And here we have the blocks loaded into the sterilizer. I can get 4 at a time in one sterilizer on my stove. I can run more than one. And these will go at 15 psi and 121 Celsius for 2 hours to kill everything inside. And these are the growing mushrooms out in the fruiting shed. These are oysters. They're right ready for harvest. And you can find these at the Townsite Fruit and Veg Market and various other places around town. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed checking out my farm, and please get in touch if you have any questions or anything like that, or if you'd like to grow your own mushrooms. Thanks!